Okay. Thank you. Let's have a chazana tomorrow night, and Azar is not here tomorrow night. Maybe you should cancel the shiur. For who is coming? Just for you? You should pay. It's coming from Kwanatz, and then nobody is here.
Well, that's
vandaag was de slag over de motsa.
It's easy, schwach. In the summertime, and it's call it off is better than. You know what I'm saying? Call him tonight so let him know that tomorrow is not a shiur. Don't have to come.
Okay, I'm worried that the Sichos we're learning tonight. I know I'm going to come late, so that's why I just sent out a text that we'll start at 9 o'clock. I see. Okay. This is a Sichot that Rebbe said over 3 fabrengens. And people asked questions in the Oros of Yudim, and it was back and forth. And when you finish the Sichot, and so much of the Yidden traveling becomes alive. You'll see, like the Rebbe goes through a lot of the details, what happened, who's coming, who's going, what's happening. It becomes alive. You almost touch it. Let's read quickly. You have a paper? When did Miriam pass away? She passed away on the 10th day of Nisan. Rashi says, 40 years they had the water in the Sichos of Miriam. As soon as Miriam passed away, there was no more water. They complained, there's no water. They Okay, so that was the story. The Miriam passed away. The Be'eri, the Shemirim, is not working. The Jews are complaining. There's no water to drink. There's no water. The Yidden are complaining. There's no water. The Yidden are complaining. There's no water. Okay. That's next story. You also Anan al-Amav, Ki lo yovel ha'aretz asher natzat b'nei Yisrael al Hashem Erisim, as pi alayim meribet. So they were told, Moshe and Aaron were told they're not going into Eretz Yisrael. Okay. Skip to the next.
We did a
He
Sichot.
passed away. We did a Sichot a couple of years ago. Very geschmack the Sichot. Okay. Vayishma Knani melech Harod. Vayishna Knani melech Harod Yoshev HaNegev. Kibo Yisrael derech HaAsorim. Today you think you know where Arad is, because in Israel there's a city called Arad. But just like Beitar, we don't know where the real Beitar, and Lud, we don't know where the real Lud. So Arad, it's somewhere in the Negev.
the Beitar, there's an Arab village called Bitir.
Oh, close by.
And it's right here that they found the remnants from the Roman enchantment. Exactly, they found an inscription. The 10th Legion took Florence or something like that.
So then that's
Which we know from Joseph is that the Legion.
So Beitar you're saying is good. Okay, fine. But Arad is probably way off.
I don't know. Maybe there's a tell around that area. Usually when they do these things,
They do close. I know.
They did it because like there's a tell around the area, or else that the Arabs told us.
Right, a lot of places right, like where Shiloh, where they decided to make the Jewish settlements.
Yeah.
Shiloh.
Yeah.
There's an Arab village called Shiloh,
Yeah.
not Shiloh, whatever Silo, whatever they call it in Arabic.
And we Yeshua said Shemesh v'Kivon Dom. Also they know. Yeah, they know already where is it.
Yes, for this village called Jebel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You drive between Yerushalayim and Tel Aviv. On the road, these places.
Vayishma Knani melech Harod Yoshev HaNeged Kivo Yisrael derech HaAsorim Vayelochem Yisrael. Vayish Menu Shevi. Rashi says, Shama Shemeis Adam v'Nistal Kanan Yaakov. We did this. What did it say? Okay. The Gemara says in Tainus, Omer Reb Yosi, Reb Yehuda, Reb Yosi, Reb Yehuda, Aimer Shlosh Parnais and Tevam Yisrael. There were three shepherds for the Jewish people. Ve'elahem Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. Shlosh Matanas Tovis Nitol Al Yodam. Ve'elahem Be'er V'on Uman. Be'er B'schus Miriam. Amud Onam B'schus Aaron. Amon B'schus Moshe. Meisa Miriam Nistal HaKabe'er. Shinama V'tamash Miriam. Tzib Basrei V'lo Yomayim Leida. V'chozer B'schus Shnein. Meis Aaron Nistal Kanan Yaakov. Shinama V'yishma Kanan Melech Harod. Mashmu Shama. Shama Shemeis Aaron Nistal Kanan Yaakov. Kisover Nitin L'Rishus L'Lochem Yisrael. Behind the Tzib V'yiru Kolaydik Gov Aaron. Amar Abal, Ela Vayeru, Kirishloker, Mishlokish Kima, Sham Shvav Lashen, E Dilma Ela Do. So the Kigov Aaron means they saw that because Aaron passed away, so now they started being scared because they didn't have the protection. They lost that on a COVID. Chazer Shneim B'schus Moshe. Meis Moshe Nistal Kulam Shnema Ve'echad Es Shlosh Saroim B'yerech Echad. Chi B'yerech Echad Meisu. V'aloi Miriam, Esa ben Nisan, Aaron b'Yov, Moshe b'Yador. It says that the three shepherds passed away in 1 month. It's not true. Miriam passed away the 10th of Nisan. Aaron passed away the first day of Av. Moshe Rabbeinu passed away the 7th day of Adar. It's within a year, basically, but still, it's not in 1 month. It's a year apart. Nisan, Av, Adar. So what do you tell me in one month? And Malamed shenis batlu sholosh matonis toivos shenitnu al yodan v'nistalku kulam b'yerech. That there was because of Miriam there was the water, because of Aaron there was the clouds, because of Moshe there was the man. And when Miriam passed away and Aaron passed away, they went away, but they came back from Moshe. When Moshe passed away, everything went away in one shot. From Rashi in the Chumash, it almost sounds like that Rashi holds the same thing, because why not? It sounds good. And that in this parsha it says Eshed Anacholim. It says that the whole story about the little shira in this week's parsha. And Rashi says, "Mebomas Hagai b'sdei Moav, Hisham Moshe b'sham batla be'er." When Moshe passed away, the bear was bottled. So it sounds like it came back, and it was b'schus Moshe. It almost sounds that way. So you almost want to say that according to Rashi, also the Anania Klavid, Adam passed away, the Ananim left, and then they came back. But it's funny. If they went away, so what happened? Knani Melech Harod saw that it went away. So it went away for long enough for Knani Melech Harod to see, but it really came back. Like it really shocks. It should have come back. The delivery went with UPS with the clouds was supposed to come 5 minutes after Adam passed away, but the clouds came a little late. The delivery the truck came a little late, and the milk got spoiled. So what happened was now Knani Melech Harod saw had the clouds come. Just in shot that Rebbe asked. If a child is learning Chumash, he sees there's no more water, and there's a tumult. Where Miriam passed away? Where's the water? Where's the seltzer? Pass the water. Adam passes away, and the clouds go away. Knani Melech Harod sees there's no more clouds, and he comes to fight. No one's complaining about the clouds. The Torah doesn't say the clouds went. When Rashi says it's mashma that the clouds left. That's why I'm all of a sudden. But they didn't complain. We don't see that the clouds came back. About the water, we have a whole story that they complained. The Abisha said to talk to the rock. They hit the rock. But what happened with the Anania Kovet? What Rashi doesn't say. The Gemara says very nice. The Gemara says just like what happened with the water happened with the Anania Kovet. They came back. Now, according to the Gemara, you have to wonder what happened with the Knani Melech Harod. You have to say the clouds came in a delivery truck and it came 2 days too late.
How long they had no water and then the water came back? Miriam passed away. And next day, Moshe Rabbeinu
Mistama right away. How long can you go without water?
in the desert,
In the midbar.
In the midbar.
and without cloud.
Okay, the cloud also. Exactly. So what happened? How come Rashi doesn't say anything? So one shot the Rebbe says, like I said before, the Rebbe said this over 3 Fabrengens. People asked questions. It was very interesting. One shot the Rebbe says, maybe the Taka didn't need any clouds anymore. Let's take 4 the main thing the clouds had. Labal Yaakov Bahem, Rashi says, Sherev Shemesh. Another thing is, Hoyu Shofim B'Ksufta Megatz and Oisen. It was free dry cleaning.
Yes.
And the third one is Lan Choisem Adere. And the fourth one is Man Chesagavoya Magvias Anomach V'Hoyrig Nachoshem V'Akrab. So these 4 things are happening through the clouds. So the first thing is, they're already not in the desert. They're Hoyra Hod is say Eretz Edom. They're not sitting in
They're on the border of Israel.
a normal place. The heat is not so crazy like in the desert. Also, if you think about it, when was it Sog the Rebbe? It's a big discussion that we're bringing. Adam passed away to Chodesh Av. That's in this week's parsha.
That's the sea heat.
But-
The most hot.
Oh, so the people don't ask in the Fabring, and then they wrote in the order the Rebbe said,
The most heat.
the Gemara says, no.
Chamor
No. So the Rebbe says, the Gemara says in Tainus, that Amish Tu B'Av is Toshish Karachak now.
From what is Pesach to Bel?
15 days.
That's
And there's gefährlich.
45 degrees. It's not gefährlich. You can't take one day.
So someone said, but wait, the Rashi brings in Pashas Noya that Shali Kaita Kosher Makaita. Shali Kaita Kosher Makaita. I just remember there's someone that comes here, he collects, he's more here than he's not. He said, a point I remember it was the end, I don't know, it was many years ago.
You ginger guy?
Yeah, I bumped into, we were both flying from Eretz Yisrael here to New York, and it was the end of the summer. The place was in Elul, and we're waiting in a line in El Al, in the big terminal. That was that day. It was so hot.
Wow.
So hot.
No, but inside the building is not.
Inside is a machai, it's air conditioning. But still, it's like, when it's so hot. And Eretz Yisrael,
When it's 40
Yeah.
degrees, you can breathe.
So I remember he was saying, I can't take it anymore. Shali kaita kosher mekaita.
He knew the Russian from the morning.
Yeah, shali kaita kosher mekaita. It's like so hard. So
That's the worst way.
at the end of the summer is worse than anything. But the Rebbe says, if you look in the Gemara, Rashi in the Gemara, it says why. That the world and the people, their bodies are ready. So they're already cooked. They're cooked. So even though outside it's not so hot anymore in Elul, but shali kaita kashim kaita, even though it's already it's shali kaita.
Elul is good, but always out.
I understand, but according to Rashi, from 15th of Av until the 15th of Tishrei is called shali kaita. So shali kaita is, but the Rashi explains in the Gemara because the people already had a long summer. So they're already exhausted, and they can't take, even the heat is not so bad, they can't take it anymore.
Right.
But if the Eden was sitting in the air conditioning 24/7 on that Anei COVID, and now they're ready, Be'eretz Nosheves, they're already not mamish in the desert, and it's already Rosh Chodesh Av. So you could say it's not so bad. And another thing you're saying,
Without water. You can't stay in
no, water attack you can. That's what you're saying. Maybe the Anei COVID attack never came back. What do you need? You need protection from Sherev Shemesh. So think about it. What's going to happen? By the time it's going to be the next summer, they're already in Eretz Yisrael.
Right.
In the Chodesh Adar, Zayin Adar, in the winter, at the end of the winter, next winter, Moshe Rabbeinu passed away. By the time,
a year later?
it's less than a year later. And by the time it's going to be Pesach, they're already in Eretz Yisrael. They already brought the korban.
Almost 8 months.
Yeah, 8 months. 8 months. They're never going to be another summer. That's it. By next summer, they're all living. They're living in Tel Aviv, in Yerushalayim. They're living already in.
Moshe didn't know that they were out of water?
We're not talking about the water. We're talking about the clouds. The water they got right away. They got the water. The question is, what's with the clouds?
Moshe and they said we don't have water.
That's a separate question. But we're talking about the clouds. We're saying what happened with the clouds? What happened with the clouds? How come no one's complaining about the clouds? The Rebbe saying maybe.
You know that they came back.
The Gemara says.
Right.
The Rebbe says maybe Rashi doesn't say anything because the Taka didn't come back. What do you need? Laba Yaakov Sherev Shemesh. It's already the end of the summer.
Okay.
And by the time next summer is going to come in, they're living in Vilot in Kfar Saba and Tel Aviv. If you're worried about Ksusam, they can go to TJ Maxx. They're already next to the land of Moav and Edom. You can buy clothing already in Macy's. If you worry about the dead land, there's roads. There's the I-95. There's already roads here. We're talking they're already in the land by the land of Sichos. And if you're worried about Nachoshim v'Akrabim, there's probably the people that lived in the land of Sichos made sure that the roads were clean from Nachoshim v'Akrabim. So you could say they didn't need really, even though it sounds like that till they came with Moshe Rabbeinu to Har Navoy, every mountain was flat. Which Rashi says there are only 3 mountains were left: Har Navoy and Hoyrahor, the 3 and Har Sinai, three mountains. You could say because the clouds went a little bit ahead of them. You could say, but the Rebbe says, "Be'emes, it's not true." 5 things the Rebbe said. 5 things. It's not true. Number 1, Lanchosim Baderech doesn't only mean that they shouldn't get lost. The Eibishter wants they should go in a certain way. Lanchosim Baderech doesn't mean they shouldn't get lost. The Eibishter wants them to go in a certain way, and the clouds told them where to go. Another thing is
with a GPS.
Another thing, it says that after Adam passed away, there were Chozru Sheva Masos L'Midbar. The Taka did go back to the Midbar Sheva Masos. And third thing is, what do you mean? The Anania Kovet protected the Eden from when they went out of Mitzrayim. And Rashi says was Makabel Chitzim va'avnei blistros. Whenever the Eden, when they fought with Amalek, it says Sevi lochem v'Amalek. You have to go out of the cloud because Amalek can't go into the cloud. How did Amalek bother the Jews? Because those that were sinners
outside,
so we need the clouds to protect us. Number 4, the clouds also showed them how long. How do they know when to stop and when to go? Clouds stop, they stop. The clouds go. So there is a thing for the cloud, and the main thing that I was said, the 5th thing is in the story when they were sleeping with the girls of Midian, and they sinned with the Baal Pa'or. How did they know who sinned or didn't sin? No one sat up and said, "I'd sinned." You think people put up their hand? They said, Rashi says, "V'hoika oisam l'Hashem neged Hashemesh, and Hashemesh mediach es achoitim ha'ona nikpal nika negdoi v'achama zerachas alov." That anyone that sinned, the Onan moved, and the Chama shined on him, and everyone knew that he sinned. And this story of the Bnei Midian happened way later, after Aaron HaKohen passed away. Elazar HaKohen was already the Kohen at that time. It's a matas masa. It's not only like, ain't a muktim bucher, but Elazar was then the Kohen God. Aaron already passed away. So we see they still had Ananim. So here comes the massive chiddush from the Rebbe. Massive chiddush from the Rebbe, and answers a lot of things. The Rebbe says there's 2 types of clouds. We see Rashi a lot of times said Anania Kovid and Ananim. There were 2 types of Ananim. There was clouds to protect and clouds of glory. There were 2 different clouds. If you need to kill snakes and scorpions, that's not, obviously that's beautiful, but that's not stam laharas chibosim. They're dangerous. You have to kill them. But if you're going to make that all of a sudden all the jackets are nice and pressed, you know what? Go buy yourself a press, put it on the coals, and press your begadim. Press your begadim. The Rebbe at the Fabrengen said, because someone asked, no, but you need to have, how are they going to? So the Rebbe said, let's imagine, the Rebbe said, I said, a button probably once fell off, right? A couple of buttons. 40 years, a button could fall off in jacks. So what happened?
They grew up with the clothes.
And so they grew up with the clothes. But first of all, the Rebbe says, who says that Anania Kovid made that the clothes? The Rashi says, they grew was a miracle, nothing to do with Anania Kovid. And Rashi never says, what happened with a button? So the Rebbe laughed. The Rebbe said, probably the Balabosta the missus took a thread and a needle, and she sewed the button. So, the same thing, if the Balabosta wants her son and daughter to walk out with a pressed shirt, nice pressed, so she would take a hot thing, put it on like in the olden days, and she would press it.
Yeah, they didn't come to me.
So if the Ananim are pressing their begodim, it's covered, it's special. You snakes and scorpions, you can't live. It's dangerous. But you could go with a shirt that's creased. Marash. So that's covered. Some things were covered and some things were necessary. If it's Chamsin, if it's 110 degrees and it's the middle of the Sinai desert, it's dangerous. You need to have an anonym to protect you. If there's snakes and scorpions, you need to have an anonym. If there's enemies that are coming and they're throwing avonim va'avle blistros, you need to have an anonym to protect you. It's nice. It's obviously chibosim shel Yisrael, but that's not COVID. That's to save their life. But if a person says, I have a jacket, I want it nice, I want heavy starch, go to the cleaners and pay for heavy starch. The Anania COVID will do it. That's COVID. So there were two types of clouds. The Rebbe says with this came from the Kasha, the Bach, the Mizrahi, everyone asks. There were 7 clouds. Gemara says the Machloek is why we do a sukkah. And we pass in Shuch. It seems like we more go that the idea of a sukkah is for Anania COVID, not for the sukkah, it's for Anania COVID. So the Bach asks, and the Rebbe Mizrahi asks, so why don't we make the sukkah? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But where's the 7th? Where's the 7th? There were 7 clouds.
What should we do?
Epis, you should do a zeicher. That's what the Bach asks. And Bechlal, they said, so why is sukkahs kosher with 2.5 walls? Well, you need l'zeicher for the ananim. Yes. The Rebbe says a murid de kateretz. The 7th cloud was only there to straighten the land and to kill the snakes and the scorpions. That's not COVID. That's to save their life. When we're doing on sukkahs, it's lahadas, the extra hiba, the extra, we're going, it's winter, and we're showing that we want to celebrate Anani HaKovid. Anani, not the Ananim that saved their lives. There were the clouds that saved their lives. That's not what we're celebrating. That we celebrate on Pesach. That's on Pesach. On Sukkot, the extra, we want to celebrate Anani HaKovid. The Rebbe says that's why
we're celebrating the one that protected us from the heat.
So that's at Anani HaKovid. But that 7th one was only killing the snakes and scorpions.
That's the same category as the heat, no?
So that's what the Rebbe says. You could say in the heat gufa, there's heat and there's heat.
Right. So
you could, if you want to like kvetch, the Rebbe says you could say two and a shtickle the wall. Like if there was ever an enemy, so Lav Dafka that was surrounded. Sounds like when Mitzrayim, there was the Onan went back. So the minimum. So the Torah did not every day, but like if the Torah computed that most of the 40 years, if they just needed the minimum to protect them, two ananim and a little bit volshengeven genug, just that they don't die from the sun, they don't. 2 and a bistel, so the other ones is for the COVID.
The 4.5 was the COVID.
The other ones are for the COVID, or okay, you're saying like 1 and a little would have already saved their lives. The fact that the Eibishter made from all 4 sides, and that one that killed the snakes and the scorpions, plus a little more and a little more, would have saved their lives. No, so that's not the ikid is that we're celebrating is for the COVID. But Paul Minig Yisrael is Minig Chabad is brought Sefer Nogim. But Minig Posher Klal Yisrael is to build a sukkah chatfilah with 4 walls, not to rely on this and on that. To try to build taka with the MS 4 walls.
Only the Baal Shem Tov had a sukkah with
Baal Shem Tov got the Psachidish that he made a funny sukkah because he wanted to malam schus on the Eden but otherwise the Minig Yisrael is to make taka 4 walls. But still, the Mizrahi has a question, the Bach has a question. Then it says there's 2 types of clouds. There's the clouds that are there to protect and the clouds that are there for COVID. So therefore, this answers all the shilas that it says. Now, and one more thing that it says, a very interesting thing. It says in the Gemara, and also Rashi brings it in Dvorim, Vayishma Knani Melach Harod, Shenistalko Anani Kabed, Kisovu Shenitne Rishus Leilochem B'Yisrael. Funny lashon. Kisovu Shenitne Rishus, like he thought you could fight with the Yidden. Because if you're going to say like what we said, not all the Ananim left. Some of the Ananim left, and some stayed forever. In other words, till Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, or till they came and let its neshavas. So So if you're going to say that, so now you understand. He saw a couple of clouds went away. A couple are there. Because over gemeint, oh, clouds are starting to go away. Ah, nitner reshus. He didn't realize that the only ones that went away are the Anani HaKovid, but the Ananim that were there for protection, not for COVID, to take the blistros and to kill the Nachosh. That's Takazoi. When the Yidden fought with him,
That's a little bit hard to say.
the Yidden won.
How they saw it. This cloud is forced. Then you have another cloud.
It's hard to
over the.
They saw Epis. Clouds are going. Clouds. A couple of clouds were left. Nishke was the Lomdus, the Anani HaKovid. But that's the Loshen, not the Shus. If all the clouds left, so okay, he could fight with them. He lit the Shus because he saw something and it didn't click in his mind what's going on. He saw a couple of clouds leaving. So the Rebbe says, so now you can understand. Bottom line, the Rebbe's Chidush is there's two types of clouds. There's an anim of protection and an anim of COVID. The anim of COVID, Taka left, and they never came back. And the Yidden didn't complain. Why should they complain? What are you complaining about? What do you want? What do you want? Want free cleaners? Forever you want to get free cleaners? You'll have to pay. You want a double starch? You pay double. Marash. And that's it. You want a new suit? Go into TJ Maxx, buy a new suit. There's a grace. And you know, when even Mitzrayim, they went out with a lot of kesef as of the smallest. So to open up one of your suitcases and take out one of the smallest that you have extra. But the Ananim that were there to protect never left. So why should they complain? And with this, we can understand why Rashi says that all the all these mountains besides three, and the third one that stayed is Har Navoi. Har Navoi is where Moshe Rabbeinu was buried on Zayin Adar. It's a little bit sounds like the cloud was there till Zayin Adar, and really it should have flattened Har Navoi, but the Eibishter made a nest that it shouldn't. It's mashma that it's still around. So according to this chidush, everything is neicha. There is anani HaKovid and there's anani protection. The anani of protection always stayed. So why would he eat fetch? The anani HaKovid left. So maybe there's no water to drink. You scream and yell. There's no protection. The snakes and the scorpions and the sun. You can talk about say that it's Rosh Chodesh, but it's still hot. But they have nothing to complain about. The Ananim that were there to protect them was stayed. Only the Anani HaKovid left. So therefore everything is understood. Okay, so the bottom line is that you could say that Rashi Taka doesn't hold on the Medrash, that everything came back b'schus Moshe. But the Rebbe says, but really, they still had, Moshe Rabbeinu made sure they had everything they needed. And not only that, even the water, when Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, it's not the pshat that they were starving for water. If you think about it, the Rebbe says, it's not the pshat that they were starving for water. V'hodaya, it says that there was a miracle. That Rashi says that when Moshe Rabbeinu, Shemes Moshe, B'zayin Ad, the Posach Hamon related. And Rashi in Pasha in Boy B'Shalach. V'nestap komimon shalok to Boy B'Yoyim Ad Shekriva Ayma B'Shisha Asa B'Nisim.
That's a miracle.
That's a miracle.
That's like a Baba Sali wine.
A Baba Sali one, exactly. The Arak from the Baba Sali. Again, they had a package from the last day from Dayan Adar, and it was till Shisha also Benissen, because that's the day they brought the Korban Oimer, and Memachras they ate Mavur Aretz, they ate already.
Matan Home. They had the same sandwich.
They had the same sandwich, and they ate Epis Anes, and they still had the same thing. So we see that the Yidden were that everything was Moshe Rabbeinu had bazorked al Yidden what they need. So but Rashi says that the day Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, the rock rolled into Yamashal Tveria. So where did they drink? So the Rebbe says a Chumash Mikra, we're not going to ask such a question, because where are the Yidden standing right now with Moshe Rabbeinu? They conquered Moav, they conquered Ammon. Jordan River is very fresh water.
Yeah.
If the kid is from the Middle East, that the water comes from the Cherimon and the Banyas, the delicious cold water, and the Yarden is Adayam as a delicious cold good water. And if the kid still, if the kid doesn't live there, still he knows there's a Yarden.
The Yarden is water. What's the Yarden? Is water. And the Yidden are going to cross the Yarden. And this is fresh water. This is not Yam. This is not salt or Yam Maluchim from the Atlantic Ocean or from the Mediterranean.
It's not Yam HaMelech.
It's not Yam HaMelech, which is super salty. The Yarden Adayam is very good water. Especially if you think about when the Yidden came into Eretz Yisrael, they're coming up, they conquered basically what we see today as Jordan. They conquered the whole Jordan from the bottom. Whatever is like today Jordan, they conquered it. They conquered it like sort of like this.
I think today it's
Till the top.
Bet Shan. Like this.
Hoydahod, yeah, like where Beit Shan is. On the other side, Hoydahod is somewhere there. And then they came down and they crossed into Yericho. So like with today, there's that highway. What is it? 90 on the side of the
Jordan,
right. So they travel on the other side where today the highway 90 is. So what kind of shaila is with that water? They have water. True. Huh?
Syria.
Ken, it's Syria, and then when you go,
Just in the side.
yeah. So they conquered the whole Jordan, and whatever now is Syria, they were there. That Syria is like Hoydahor.
Jordan finished in Elat. ואז אתה נכנס לסוריה.
No, the whole
לוקח אותך לכיוון ים
Right.
התיכון.
עד הצפון. בצפון יש סוריה. אז הם כבשו את כל הירדן, מה שהיום
הם
נקרא.
כבשו את סוריה גם, כן?
חלק, ואז ירדו.
מבית שאן וירדו
וירדו בצד הזה של הירדן.
So היה להם מים.
There's plenty of water to drink. If they would have, till Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, Rashi says in this week's parsha that the 12 shortim, each one took his stick, and he went like this from Be'er Shel Miriam till his shevet. It was beautiful. And the water flowed with his stick. He went into the ground. He made like till and then it's
12 different
machayas. You know, the water came right here. The water came next to your tent. You go down. It's great. Now that Moshe passed away, so you got to go down to the Jordan. You take 2 buckets. You go down. The Yidden were traveling there. They conquered that land. They're traveling down on the side of the Jordan, and they're going to pass through Yericho. So, but taka, more of food, they didn't have. So you have to go buy. You have to get. It's already more than the water that we had. So there was a miracle taka for a month and a half that they had. The Rebbe says what we see from here is that even Pshut Shamikra, Moshe Rabbeinu always made sure that he didn't have everything they had. Maybe if you want double pressed with starch, okay, not necessary. You have water in the jar. Whatever they needed, they had. That's the union of a tzaddik, that even when he passes away, that lo yepordum al tzoy marisam, that's a lotion that the Frierdiker Rebbe writes about his father, that a tzaddik is always that he made sure to take care of his aroy and them, and he made sure to take care of his people. So Takash Gocha Protis, I was taking my parents we went to a family chasna. My father-in-law never had a sister that she was a very young mother. She had 5 little kinderlach, and she passed away. So the kids, they aufgewachsen, Baruch Hashem, from a Yidden. I like to take my parents always to the chasnas and keep close with them. So the Vaile told me a story, unbelievable story. You know, my father-in-law loves to have his stories. Once we're talking about a very choshev Yid. It's like a halten of Hagodel B'Yisrael, but Taki wrote a lot of Svarim. And it was Taka choshev Yid. So my father, I met him once. I gave him a ride. So I said, no, you can get it in Lana. From when he stepped into the car until I dropped him off, I told him Rebbe stories.
He's good tonight.
So, Ayid was a good after this lex to the Munas Chachamim. I can give a Choshev Ayid. I mean, so the story, he told me a beautiful story. He said there was a Yid that showed up at a Fabrengen a couple of years ago, Gimel Tammuz. And they said a mice like this. His mother came to the Rebbe. It wasn't clear if it was by dollars or yechidus. And she asked him Sabrocha. Not so clear. Say his name is Reuven. And the Rebbe said, tell your son that it's not kedai to take to travel now. So she called her son. So what's going on? So he said that he has he's a diamond dealer, and that he was going to, with a partner, an Italian goy. He was going to Colombia. There was a company there that was buying from them diamonds. So the mother said, "You're not scared to go to Colombia?" He said, "First of all, it's not a gang. It's a real. It's a company. It's not Stama dealer." And the guy I'm traveling with, he's an Italian that was had a military career, and he carries a gun with him, and he's a good guy is fit. So I feel it's fine. Anyway, but Hayos the Rebbe said not to travel, so he said he's not going to travel. He called the goy. He said, "I'm not going. But if you don't mind, I'll give you, my chelik of the business, and I'll pay you extra for." No. The guy was angry. If you're not coming with me, don't send any diamonds with me. I'll do my business myself. Okay. Kachava. He went to Colombia, and he came to the headquarters of this company. Came there, and he took out the bag, and they looked at the diamonds, and they tested them. On the table, they gave him the money. After they gave him the money, someone walked over to him. They blew his brains out. On the spot.
And the Rabbi saw it before, so he told him.
So this, he was saved. His life was saved. A couple of years later, this was already after the Stalkus of the Rebbe. It's 1996. And his brother called him. He said, "Abahola, he had a dream. The Rebbe told him, you must tell your brother right away that the instructions from last time is again for today."
Oh.
So he had a flight. He had a flight that was supposed to travel that day to Rome for business, and his brother told him, "Yeah, I saw it like alive." So he decided he's not traveling. The problem was that there was another Jewish woman, and he was going to give her a ride. They were both going on the same flight. He was going to give her a ride to the airport. He was going to park his car at the airport. And so he's not going to go. So what he's going to that he was thinking to himself, the Rebbe said not to go. This might be dangerous. He's going to call her and tell her a story with a dream and a brother. Someone's going to laugh at him. But he remembered from last time that it was serious. So he didn't tell her anything. He came to her house, he picked her up, going to the airport. He went in the LIE the other direction. The woman started screaming, "Where are you going?" "Ooh, sorry. Okay, whatever." He went to the exit, brought her to the airport. That was the way she missed the flight. She was so angry at him. She said, "Never mind. You go home. I'm at my husband. I'll get my husband. I'll get a taxi." So the Viola, she before he left, she came back. She called her husband, and her husband was like, "You're alive? This was TWA flight 800. After 12 minutes on flight, I was going on the Shinagansa flight." This is a story. This is a story the person told. So that's the Indian of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu made sure that the Tzvazor, even after he passed away, whatever they needed, that its tarchus should be. So that's what we learn from Raya Mehemna, that the lo yipordem atzom erisem al halom tanay mit dem mashamish David shall helfen taka. That David is it says in the Medrash that David says Moshe Rabbeinu, you should wait with the Yidden to take them in. The Yidden are going with you. That David shall helfen taka. That Moshe Aaron and Moed, the Mashiach will come, and instead of getting Ashpoah from Tzaddik, which is lo yifordem al tzom marisem, that we should see it.
Cancel it, Peretz.
What?
Cancel it tomorrow night.
What's happening tomorrow night?
Not a lot of
He's
people
not
here.
going
It's a
to one
summer.
person.